Okay, what you got?
Well, I've got another classic. It's an absolute classic, and probably considered the greatest album ever produced. Probably the biggest selling album of all time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us anymore. He might have been a bit crazy at certain times. He wasn't called Wacko Jacko for nothing, but you can't deny his talent. And this was brilliantly produced by Quincy Jones. Every song is a hit, and one of them's even got Paul McCartney on it. So I think during that time, Jacko was
the
kind of
girl's mine.
Oh no, Michael! I'm not going to argue with you, Michael.
God is mine.
I'm not a fan. I'm 11. It's like kind of like that. And didn't Jacko say to McCartney, "Oh, I'm going to buy the rights to all the Beatles songs"? At the time?
Did.
Yeah,
and he ended up buying. He got them.
Macca didn't believe him, and he ended up.
Yeah. But he sold them since. I believe. Well,
yeah.
I think he sold them before he died.
Yeah.
But you couldn't avoid Michael Jackson Thriller in 82, 83.
Well, especially when we started high school in '84. This guy was everywhere. He was everywhere.
He was already on the top of the charts.
We knew all those '80s songs that Wham and all those other ones like
Culture Club.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper and all
Duran
those.
Duran.
Yeah. But we were also hearing this guy's album as well.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hard to ignore. You had Thriller and Billie Jean and all those songs. It reminds me so much of high school.
Absolutely.
And like I said, brilliantly produced by Quincy Jones. He's one of the best of all time. He's up there with Spector and George Martin and probably Eddie Kramer and all that stuff. So Quincy Jones, yeah. And the back cover there, he's in his red thriller suit. And I don't know if you remember, but they made a doll of him.
Did they? Right. Okay, I think I remember that.
You could probably
Everyone knows that album cover.
Might even be on eBay these days, and if you have one of those, it'd probably be worth quite a bit of money. But
I remember the old joke. How does Michael Jackson go to the toilet? He pulls down his Billie Jeans, whips out his Thriller, and beats it.
Oh, that's
bad, isn't it?
That's
Sorry
bad.
about that.
It's good, but
bad
it's bad.
joke.
Yeah.
I should cut that bit out.
Now, I guess prior to this, were all these other albums just as good? I don't know. But I'm not really the best judge of that. I'm not the best I'm not best qualified to answer that. But
Off the Wall, the one before that, picked him up. But that came later.
Yeah. Then he started getting more into plastic surgery and doing stupid things, and he did have vitiligo. He did suffer from a skin disease.
He did. He did.
That wasn't a rumor. That was true.
Yeah. And the Pepsi accident, the Pepsi commercial, when he his head caught on fire, and that actually messed him up badly.
Yeah. He obviously decided to depigmentize his whole body. Yeah. Rather than just look like rather than just look like Spotty, he obviously decided to go all the way and just have his whole body depigmentized. Yeah. So that explains his skin. So he did have this disease. He did have this skin. He wasn't lying about that. He did have it. So.
But he was definitely cranking then.
Oh yeah, dancing. His moves. The moonwalk and all that. Yeah. Like, there was no. I mean, He's pretty good. He was pretty unique, and he deserves a lot of credit. A nice cover too. I like that cover as well. It's but you just look at this and you think, actually, biggest selling album of all time.
Now I had this when it came out because I think it got everybody. It didn't matter what you were listening. I was in Loveboy, Foreigner, Kiss, and stuff like that, but this was hard to ignore because it was just such a powerful release. All the hits, Billie Jean and all that, Thriller, obviously great. But Pretty Young Thing, I always thought was a really good song. Yeah. And Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Sa, Mama Say,
There's nothing on there I dislike.
No,
they're all good
every
songs.
song is really good.
That's why it's such a masterpiece. It was so brilliantly produced, and you can see why it's the biggest selling album of all time.
Well, 150 trillion albums sold. I mean,
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like and I can't see anything topping it.
No. Well, definitely not in this day and age.
No.
The chances of anything like that being top now is non-existent.
I mean, this is outdone even the Beatles albums.
Yeah.
It's like not even the Beatles could.
It's probably almost outdone all the Beatles albums combined.
Yeah. Well, the Beatles have sold over 1 billion albums, but how many's Mark Jackson? Not Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
He's a different story.
That's his brother. They're talking Mark.
He's even more crazy.
He's from South Fremantle, mate.
South Fremantle, mate.
Football club.
Just shut up, will you? Just shut up and let me talk. So yeah. Sorry, we're getting a bit carried away with Mark Jackson on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but
so yeah, Michael Jackson, Thriller, great album.
Great album.
Bit of a no-brainer, really. One of us had to put it in, regardless of.
I felt it had to be put in.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
It deserved to be put in.
All right.
So what do you got next?
Now, this one nearly didn't make it. But I thought, you know what? I love this album so much that I had to include it, and I'm talking
your old
about
mate Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian Bach.
I remember you.
I remember you. Yeah, he's all right. Look, you know, when he came out with Skid Row back in '89.
What's his real name?
Sebastian Burke. So he's changed it a little bit. He said, I changed it because I don't want my name to rhyme with jerk.
Ah, right.
But, you know, when he started out with Skid Row back in '89, like when I first heard that first Skid Row album, I knew that I was listening to a vocalist that was special. Like, you know, to me, he was kind of like the perfect frontman.
Mm-hmm.
He had the voice, he had the look, he had the hair. He was young, you know, he's only a couple of years older than us. But this, of course, is a solo album of his. I saw this tour in Hartford, Connecticut, back in 2011. You know what? If you're going to buy a Sebastian Bach solo album, this is the one to get.
Yeah.
Kicking and Screaming kicks ass. Tunnel Vision's a great song. As Long as I Got the Music, Dirty Power. Look, every song. He had Nick Sterling playing guitar with him at the time. Nick would not continue for the next record. Bobby on drums. Now, I can't pronounce his last name without messing it up about 4 times before I got it right, so I won't even bother. Hang on, see if you can do it. Jazombek.
Jazombek, yeah.
Bobby Jazombek.
Yeah.
And he's played with like Rage and Riot and a whole, not Rage, he played with Rage, he played with Riot. And I love Riot too, so, and he's been in a few other big bands around. But yeah, if you still like all that hard rock Skid Row type style, this is heavy as, so it's a good one to get onto. But yeah, Kicking and Screaming, Sebastian Bach. Check it out, definitely.
And you've hung out with him many times.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure of hanging with the guy and having good chats, and he's there's certain things I can't even talk about.
He's a crazy sort of guy.
He is. Yeah, you got to pick your times.
Yeah, I guess he can be a bit unpredictable at times.
But you know what? That's probably the beauty of him as well. I think, you know, there's been times I've
probably welcome you with open arms, but other times he might tell you to bugger off.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, shit, Sebastian Bach. You know, if it was Bon Scott or if it was someone else, you'd accept it. Could have been. Oh, we accepted him doing it for many years.
Yeah.
But I want to say hi to Rob DeLuca, who plays in Sebastian's live band, and he's a good mate of mine. I'm going to mention him again very soon, but just want to say hi, Rob, because I know you're probably going to be watching this. And Rob plays, I think I just said, bass for Sebastian on the majority of his live stuff. And I'm sure he will be out touring with him again very shortly when the world goes back to normal again.
Yeah.
There you go, Sebastian Bach, Kicking and Screaming.
Sebastian Bach, yes.
Love that album. What you got, brother?
Okay, well, my next one is two albums.
We're going to do, I'm going to do this too. So we're actually cheating by having 13 albums, but we're going to put 2 of them together.
Many say could have been combined to form one album. You got Beatles, Rubber Soul, and Revolver. Very similar albums, very similar songs. Why I like these so much is that not only are they considered one of the best Beatles albums, but during this time, the Beatles, they were coming out of that sort of mop top period, and they were getting more and more creative in the studio, and even George was coming of age. George was starting to establish himself as a songwriter. I think even Ringo's got a couple of songs on here as well. So, and I love the covers as well. You got that's one of my favourite Beatles covers. I just love the angle or the perspective of that. Just the looks on their faces.
And it's such a basic colour, really.
Such a basic, and I love that logo. It's so psychedelic, sort of 60s. You know, it's just a great colour.
This is when they were really starting to find.
They were, like I said, they finished touring. They were sick of. They'd done that. They wanted to concentrate more in the studio, and of course, with the help of George Martin, you know, they were producing really just fantastic stuff. Apparently, Klaus Vormann, who was a friend of the guys during the Hamburg days, designed this collage, and he plays a significant part in the Beatles' story. Even after the Beatles broke up, he worked with George Harrison on a lot of his albums as well. And I remember years ago the Beatles cartoon show was on telly.
Yeah,
it was like the four guys in the little blue suits. Yeah. That's how I originally first became familiar with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Used to watch that cartoon all the time, and I used to love their songs. And I've got the whole series on DVD. I watch that quite often.
Yeah.
Ringo had this funny sort of laugh. Sort of like, he was always like, he was real. Yeah.
And the Fat Controller.
The Fat Controller. Yes, he did. Thomas the Tank.
He did Thomas the Tank.
And you just got classic songs on here. You know, like with the Beatles, Rubber Soul. You got, you know, Drive My Car, Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Think for Yourself, you know, Michelle, I'm Looking Through You, always like that song. In My Life.
They were definitely experimenting with drugs as well through this period.
They were hitting the drugs at this time.
I think they realised they had such a big hit with their early stuff.
LSD, you name it, they were getting wasted.
Let's not tour, let's just get heaps of drugs, go to the studio, see what we can come up with. That's what it kind of felt like. When you hear a lot of that stuff, you're like, where do you come up with this stuff, you know?
A lot of it was probably when they were off their face.
I think it would have been.
Run for Your Life, that's another great song, and great album.
That's your combining.
Like I said, these are sort of combined where many seem to think that these two should have been one big album.
Yeah.
But, you know, it didn't.
Like the White Album.
Like the White Album, yeah. They often thought the White Album had too much stuff on it. But, it still went platinum or something. It still sold and went platinum, so yeah.
Yep.
And of course, the first track on Revolver is Taxman. That's a George song.
Yeah, right.
And that's a great song.
Yeah.
One of his best songs he ever wrote. He does a killer riff on that. Ringo's drumming, I always felt was pretty cool on that. And just, you know, the chorus goes, I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. You know, great song. And you got Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping, you know, Here, There and Everywhere. She Said. I love that one of John's. Side 2, Good Day, Sunshine. A lot of these songs I picked up from that cartoon show.
Yeah.
They're all from these albums. So I think that's probably another reason why these Beatles albums are
mean so much to you.
Just watching that cartoon show.
Yeah.
And Your Bird Can Sing, another great song. And of course, the last one, Tomorrow Never Dies. There was always talk that John was off his face when he was writing that song. They said it was a hard drugs type song. And I think it was just written in one chord.
Yeah, right, okay.
It was just continuation on one chord.
Yep.
Or so they say. So, No, two great Beatles ones. I probably could have included Sgt. Pepper. I know Sgt. Pepper is there, but I just personally, just each to their own. I just think these two combined are they just gets their nose in front of Pepper for me.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Each
Put in the comments.
Put in your comments,
yeah, absolutely. Tell us what your favourite Beatles albums are.
That's it.
It'd be good to hear what people go. Oh, definitely, you know, the White Album.
Some of you might agree with me, some of you don't, but each of their own.
All right,
let us know.
I'm going to do my double up one now.
All right, what do you got?
All right, I'm going in a complete different direction.
Right.
So, I'm going to go with Merciful Fate's Melissa and Don't Break the Oath. So, I I first heard Merciful Fate on my mates. Sorry, was it that funny?
Just went up the wrong hole.
Okay, I hate that.
Oh, no, it's terrible when that happens.
A good mate of mine, Rodney Patelli, had a compilation heavy metal album. It had Metallica and a whole bunch of bands on, and they were all like starting out. And it had Merciful Fate on it, and the song they had was from Melissa, and it was called Black Funeral. Now, I looked at the back of the album cover, and it showed a picture of the band, and he's got the makeup on, and I said, "Oh, we've got to hear that." And when Black Funeral came on, I was like, there was something, it just gave me chills. It was like, wow, I've never heard anything so dark and evil before. And I'm not evil or anything like that, but I do actually get off a lot on evil sounding music. Because to me, this was kind of like a part of the first wave of black metal, but still very song structured, catchy riffs, catchy type of lyrics, but still very dark and evil. And the lyrics, some people read the lyrics and go, oh my God, that's just yuck. But if you can look beyond that, I look at all this kind of stuff like a horror movie. Like, you don't have to agree with people getting stabbed or killed or haunted or whatever, but you still enjoy a horror movie for whatever reason, you know. So, and it's a bit like me with black metal. Like, I have a very big soft spot for anything that can make me feel like I'm watching a scary horror movie. And Merciful Fate were definitely one of those bands. These both came out in the same year, I believe, 83. And, all right, I'll put my goggles on and I'll give you my rundown. Evil is great. I was born in a cemetery under the sign of the moon. He's got a really high voice that people didn't quite get onto, but I just accepted it. Into the Coven, Black Funeral, of course, Saints Fall, but Melissa, the title track, is like a ballady type song, and it's all about how Melissa was his woman and she was a witch and the priest killed her and he wants to get revenge on the priest because he killed Melissa. It's all twisted, but great stuff. I love it. Very haunting. Don't Break the Oath, Dangerous Meeting, Nightmare. I mean, every song, The Oath, Gypsy, but my favourite on here is definitely Come to the Sabbath.
The Oath, is that the same as...
Not the Kiss song, no. Kiss one, right. No, definitely not. Come to the Sabbath. It's all very dark imagery, you know. I don't think there's any other pictures in here. He's got here we go. There's King Diamond. He's still going. He's got his solo band King Diamond going. That's him there. He's rocking it. Didn't sue him
sometimes with his makeup design?
Gene was trying to sue him. Yeah. And I think Gene tried to sue him through that makeup. Yes. But by the time Gene's lawyers got in contact with King, he'd already changed all his makeup completely different. But then Gene was just trying to sue for the fact that he was wearing makeup. I mean, Gene, come on.
Yeah, they're all wearing I know, they're all wearing makeup. And you guys are influenced by Alice, so... Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you want to know anything about the first wave of black metal, go these two albums. Definitely. The third and fourth wave of black metal was a lot different than this, but this is definitely traditional and primitive. Yeah. Can I say that word?
You can.
Primitive black metal. For all you metal people out there. What do we got here, Rowlsy?
Well, I've actually got...
We've pulled another Beatles.
Another Beatles one. Some may consider this to be their finest. It was definitely their last recording, as you can see.
And it's the only photo with 5 Beatles in the photo.
5 Beatles?
It's got the 5th Beatle in it.
Oh, yes, it does too.
Yeah, the white one parked on the side of the road.
Right. The old V-dub,
Let me just run. So, my joke is that there's a Beetle parked on the side of the road, like a V-dub.
Well, so it's funny you say that. There was a rumour that Paul was dead at this time. And I think the number plate on the car kind of says... I can't read that with the glasses, but... let's have a look. No, I still can't.
You can't read it?
I think it shows his age on the number plate. I'm not really sure. But,
I've actually watched a documentary where they're trying to convince people that he was dead.
When they're walking, he walks the other way around. So there was all this rumour going around that he was dead and all that. But probably the most famous album cover of all time.
Yeah.
And I've actually crossed it. I've been there. I've walked across it, and I've been to Abbey Road, and so I've experienced it. And it was their last recording. Everyone seems to think it was Let It Be was their last recording. No, this was their final recording. Let It Be had just been shelved. Yeah.
Yeah,
because
right.
There was all these. They were just mucking around in the studio. They didn't know what to do with all these songs, and they just chucked it on the shelf. And George Martin at this time felt that, well, this is the end. The guys are just, they're losing it. They don't. It's obviously they're going to break up.
Yoko had kicked in.
Yoko. Yes. And apparently George Martin was surprised that when Paul came up to him and said, "Look, let's do another album," and that's how they ended up doing.
But didn't Let It Be ended up coming out after the band had broken up?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it was released after Abbey Road,
like a year later or something.
But recorded earlier.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of it's.
Now I wonder if anyone has actually ever been run over on that crosswalk.
That's a good question.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, so what happened to your son? Oh, he died. He got run over by a car. Whereabouts?
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. Be like, oh, you're kidding! Out of all the fucking crosswalks in the world, he had to get knocked over on Abbey Road. Now, I'm sure it's happened.
Side one, although it's got Come Together, which is like John's #1 hit.
Yeah.
My favourite side is side 2, where it's got the sort of the melody.
Yeah.
Sun King is a great song by John. Then after that, it starts off from Mean Mr. Mustard up to the end.
Yeah.
It's like one big melody.
Yeah.
It's like one big song and melody, and it just gets better and better and better. And I think the end is where you kind of get the impression it's just the 4 of them playing together.
Yeah.
If it's like, this is it, this is the
it.
final.
So, this is what we got.
You just got that. George does a mean solo, and even Ringo's drumming is really kind of.
Yeah. Just giving it a bit more. Just to finish up.
Paul jumps into his bass playing, and John's got his, that type of, just.
Yeah.
I like side 2. That's my favourite of Abbey Road. Of course, going back to the first side, you got Here Comes the Sun, another great song by George. Of course, at this time, George was really establishing himself as a songwriter.
Yeah.
He started to realise that he knew that he was just as good as John and Paul.
Yeah.
He didn't write as many songs as John and Paul, but he knew that the quality was just as good. And after they broke up, he had all these songs that weren't released as Beatles songs that he did on his first solo album.
Yeah.
And that's when
he did many, didn't he?
Yeah. In many ways, his solo album work was probably better than his Beatles.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's how I look at McCartney, and probably Lennon to a point too. I've always found that their solo stuff... I guess they just matured.
I mean, in this list, I could have included one of George's solo, and that's his first one, All Things Must Pass.
Yeah.
There's so many of these, so many albums that I've kept out of this list. But Ringo wrote Octopus's Garden. That's not a bad song. That song could have been very much like Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
It could have been made into a movie or an animated series, or it's like.
It sounds like it's from that.
Yeah, it's kind of got that sort of vibe to it. But although it was their last album to record, it still proved that they were musically they were still a force to be reckoned with. Of course, after they broke up, that's when the Rolling Stones kind of took over.
Yeah.
So that's
there you go.
That's Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. All right, I'm going to go with. I'll bring this one up now, and I'm talking about the first 30 Seconds to Mars album.
I thought that was a 60 Minutes cover.
I got into this band back in 2003 when this album came out. I saw an interview with them in, I think, Gene Simmons' Tongue magazine. And, Jared Leto obviously is a well-known actor as well. And I really thought that this album was going to bring them a lot of recognition. But it wasn't until their second album, A Beautiful Lie, which ended up having hits on it. And then everything they did after that kind of got popular. But this was definitely the heaviest album they did. It was definitely more guitar-based, rockier. It's got a very spacey, a bit like the Orgy one, a very spacey vibe to it. I love every song on this album. Jared Leto and his brother Shannon, they were really cranking back in these days. Even with albums like Beautiful Lie and This Is War, like great albums. But after that, unfortunately, the guitar started coming out a little bit more, and now it's just basically Jared and his brother, and there's no guitars at all, and it's not the same band. So if people go, oh my God, he's talking about 30 Seconds to Mars, like, believe me, their first 3 albums were great. Anything after that, they were definitely starting to lose the plot.
Kind of got a Mitch Mitchell hairdo on
it's on the back, little kid there on the back.
Yeah.
But the songs on here, Capricorn, Edge of the Earth, Fallen, Oblivion, Buddha for Mary, Echelon, Welcome to the Universe, The Mission, End of the Beginning, 93 Million Miles, and Year Zero. Like, yeah, really, really quality stuff here. And definitely out of their albums, this was my favourite, for sure. So 30 Seconds to Mars, first album.
That hairdo on the back might have influenced Wolf Mother, was it? Andrew
It looks like Wolf Mother on the back there, doesn't it? Well, this came out in 03, so I think Wolf Mother might have been just before this anyway.
I swear you're looking at 60 Minutes on the front there.
But what I love about these albums, you're just going to lie to me now. Yeah, it's only black vinyl. Your own thing is going to be colourful and all that. But a lot of the new vinyls I got are quite, they've got colours or whatever in them.
Yeah.
But I do love buying vinyl again. It's great, like, just to have something so big that you can look at and go, yeah. But there you go, 30 Seconds to Mars. Do yourself a favour.
Alrighty.
Of flavour.
Now, we're going to lead into something completely different here.
Yeah, we are. I knew this was coming.
As you know, I'm actually a big Star Wars fan.
Massive. He's got the best collection. Like,
well,
he doesn't. Well, from what I've seen, you definitely do.
Well, compared to what other people have around the world, I've barely got nothing. But I'm happy with what I've got.
He's got quite a lot, like a house full of it, actually.
The soundtrack to the original Star Wars movie, released in 1977 or 78. Music composed and conducted by John Williams with the London Symphony Orchestra. And that logo is so known. I mean, it's up there with the KISS logo, pretty much.
You put KISS Star Wars together, same thing.
Pretty much.
Different industries.
It just hits you. It's just a classic design. Very simple, but very sort of classic. Just in a black background, and it's the complete soundtrack to the original 1970s.
The whole score.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And
double album.
I never get bored listening to this. There's been many other versions of this, but you can't beat the original 1977 London Symphony Orchestra recording. I do have this on vinyl as well, and the original vinyl, I believe, came with a poster.
Yeah, right.
Which I've got. With the
beautiful.
Poster's quite rare.
Yeah.
So I do have that, and that came with the American album, not the Australian one, of course. Yeah. It's always the American albums that are better
got the better stuff.
Better stuff, better presented. Yeah.
Almost saved it.
And it's got all the tracks that we all know that are in relation to the scenes. All that.
Yeah.
You even got the Cantina bang. It's all there. And it's the actual music from the actual movie. And I first got this on vinyl. Would have been Christmas '84 when my dad got Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi for me, the whole 3 of them on vinyl for Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, and I still got them to this
day. So that'd be hard to do now.
Oh yeah.
Without paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
On eBay.
I don't know how well they still play, but the point is I still got them.
You got them.
Dad got them for me, and I still have them.
Yep. No, it's awesome.
And he used to love listening to them with me as well. So
he was into that kind of stuff.
He was into that. He loves his classics and he loves his Star Wars, and he loved listening to
bloody great, Rowlsy.
It is, yeah.
His dad is so cool. I've met him many times.
And Dad, he loved listening to this stuff as much as I did.
Yeah.
So whenever I think of these albums, I always think of the old man as well. So it's And he got them for me for Christmas, and I still got those albums.
Good on him.
So,
and at the time, he probably thought, "Oh, look, he likes the movie. I'll get the 3. Yeah, I'll get him here."
I probably pretty much got him into the movie myself.
But he wouldn't have realised, like, 30 years, 40 years down the track, that you were going to look at those as being, "Oh my God, this is."
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Dad, you got me these, and I still got them.
Yeah,
I still got those vinyls you got for me for Christmas.
Good on you, Dad.
He loves Star Wars because Alec Guinness was in it. He loved Alec Guinness. You know, he used to always tell me about Alec Guinness, and he loves the music. He loves the characters, and I think he loves the fact that I've got a collection.
Yeah.
He likes looking at it.
These are not the droids you're looking
for. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
There we go. Now, Paul, I don't know. Obviously, you haven't mentioned it yet, but if you know Paul, you know that he can do voices pretty well. So.
When I've had a bit to drink.
We've had a bit to drink, so we're working on that at the moment. And hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to get an Aussie Osborne out of him.
We might get a bit of Gamal as well.
A bit of Gamal.
A bit of Aussie. So there we go.
It's a shame we haven't got a... I don't know.
I don't know why they didn't include me. How come I'm not this fucking list?
Classic.
What a fucking cum.
All right.
What about Blizzard of Oz?
Yeah. Oh, look, Blizzard of Oz should be... Yeah, I mean, there's so many albums that unfortunately we have to leave out.
Yeah. So there's the Star Wars soundtrack.
Yeah.
Pretty different from what we previously looked at. But Johnny Williams, greatest music composer of all time.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
I'm going to go with my next pick, an Australian band who what's my favourite Australian band ever. And I'm talking about Horsehead. I guess not really well known. They came out in the early 90s, 93, 92, 93. Saw them play, first off, I saw them play in Melbourne when Guns N' Roses and Skid Row played Cold Apart. And these guys were playing on a back of a truck in the car park at the end of the festival when people were leaving. And they put them there to hopefully slow the crowd up from trying to get out. And me and my mates, we sat back and watched these guys for a while and we were just blown away. And then we got the album and ended up being a fan. And they brought out a new, 2-3 albums after this. I love it. It's just good rock, heavy rock, catchy, powerful. And in the 90s, early 90s, there was a lot of really good Australian hard rock bands coming out. But, there was Mantissa, Def Rhyme, and a whole bunch of Allegiance, obviously, were out and around that time too. But Horsehead were definitely my favourite. And if you get a chance, check out this album, which is their first self-titled. Or go on YouTube and check out songs like Oil and Water, Liar, Slave, Hazy Way, Blood Memory, Sun, Feel Me, all of it, the whole lot. You know what? Just come buy this, all right? Just come buy it.
Do yourself a favour.
I'm telling you. Yeah, no, don't do yourself a favour. I'm actually telling you to come buy the album. All right, there you go. Horsehead, first album.
Yeah.
What you got, brother?
All right, now, we're getting into more sort of, I guess, some classic stuff now. We're getting into a bit of Kiss here.
Here we are.
Now, what I have here is the best of solo albums. Of course, the solo albums.
Keep going.
But this one being the best of solo albums. This was the very first Kiss album that I ever listened to.
Same.
Back in the...
that's my original tape.
That's what I originally had. I had the same one. A mate of mine got it for me for my birthday in 1981. This was back in Sydney. Back when we were living in Turramurra. And I'd never really heard of Kiss prior to that. Of course, they toured Australia in 1980. I tell a lie, I had heard of them. I was familiar with them, but I didn't have any of their music.
Yeah.
So that was the first music album that I ever received from them, from a mate, as a birthday present. Then after that, I started getting I got the Kiss dolls, the Kiss Mego dolls, and I've still got them at home. So with the best of solo albums, of course, it's their best songs from all their albums, and it's a good choice for what they have. You got Paul Stanley is, you got Hold Me, Touch Me, yeah, Tonight You Belong to Me, Move On, yeah. They're pretty cool songs. What Peter has of his, Don't You Let Me Down, Hooked on Rock and Roll, I Can't Stop the Rain. Yeah, I think they're probably the best songs from his solo album. Ace, of course, he's got New York Groove, Speeding Back to My Baby, and Rip It Out. I think with Ace's solo album, I think he had others on his solo album that were probably just as good as what's mentioned here. Probably one of my favourite songs on Ace's solo album is actually Ozone. I'm a big fan of his song Ozone. I actually quite love that song. So I think if there was a fourth one with Ace's, I would have included Ozone, definitely. And of course, Gene, he's got Radioactive, Mr. Make Believe, and Living in Sin. Yeah, they're good choices. I think with Gene's, I also like Burning Up with Fever and See You in Your Dreams. I can imagine the band doing See You in Your Dreams live, but I don't know. I guess it never happened. So. Yeah, best of solo albums. That's quite special for me. This is like, and apparently it was an Australian release as well. I don't think this was released. No, it was
Europe and Japan.
Yeah, there was
also
a German version, wasn't there? Sort of.
There was variations.
Yeah.
And it came with the stickers, which I think I've still got a few.
That's right. It came with stickers. Unfortunately, I don't have the stickers, and this is quite an old one, but probably still plays quite well. It's got the old Casablanca logo on the front there.
Yeah.
But
my first album too.
Yeah.
So and then I got Dynasty after that. So I do love the solo albums.
Yeah.
What's your favourite? Who's your favourite one?
I think for me it's a toss up between Ace and Paul.
Same. I choose Paul, but they're the two.
Yeah, it's really hard to decide who's the best. It's a real sort of toss up.
So okay, so who would be your third and fourth choice out of the solo album?
Well, Gene would probably be the third, and Peter would be the fourth.
I do like the other way around.
Yeah, I do like Peter's ones on here. Yeah, they're good choices.
Hooked on Rock and Roll, what a classic!
They're good songs.
Mama told me.
Yeah, he didn't write the songs himself.
No,
but they're quite groovy. They've got a bit of a beat to them. They're quite groovy. And I was saying before. On Aces, the fourth one, I'd pick Ozone. I actually like Ozone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I'm actually a big Ozone fan. I quite like that. I just like that.
It almost sounds like it could have been off the first Kiss album.
Could have been, yeah. Then there's another solo bit.
Guy.
Yeah, and then there's that solo bit in the where it sort of goes all over the place. That's quite cool as well.
I think a lot of people, including Kiss fans, kind of forget the solo albums and just how good some of the stuff on them are,
But for me, it's hard to toss up between Ace and Paul's as being the best. They both kick ass for me.
Yeah.
I guess with Ace, with his, I guess he kind of proved to himself that he didn't really need the other guys. He was starting to think, well, I don't need these guys. I can do it on my own. He was kind of contemplating on leaving the band, and
and Pete would have been in the same boat where Gene and Paul already knew.
I'm quitting the band, man. I'm coming. I've had it. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And it was Bill O'Connor that sort of talked them into it.
Yeah.
Look, guys, calm down. Look, stick together. We'll do solo albums, and that's
just go out and do your thing.
Yeah.
Come back, regroup, and go from there.
Yeah.
We'll do Dynasty.
Yeah. Or Dynasty.
Okay, well, I'm going to go...
a bit of Motley.
Motley Crue, Shout the Devil, because this represents basically my teenage years in so many ways. Year 8, T-Bone got me into this.
That's how I got to know you as well. I remember you guys being into Motley. And, first it was Kiss, then Motley kind of stepped in.
Now, you can probably see the pentagram on there, but... when you grow up from 8 years old being a Kiss fan and you love hard rock and Zeppelin and all that good stuff, and then you hit high school and then somebody shows you, well, I actually had seen the band before, but when someone plays you Motley Crue and then you look at these dudes, it's going to have a pretty big impact on you. So, you know, we're talking a band that was a cross between Kiss and Sex Pistols.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they had bits of both.
Bit of a Joan Jett look as well.
Yeah, well, this is such a heavy album too. Yeah. Like for 1983, this was definitely for hard rock pushing a lot of boundaries. But Shout the Devil, the song itself. Looks to Kill, Bastard, Knock 'em Dead, Kid, Danger, Too Young to Fall in Love. Helter Skelter, Beatles cover.
Beatles song, yeah.
From the White Album.
A lot of heavy metal bands love covering that song. Because it's such a heavy song. When
I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide. It's classic. Red Hot, 10 Seconds to Love, Too Young to Fall in Love, God Bless the Children of the Beast. This album was had such an impact on my life. And, you know, when I grew up, when I was 13, I wanted to be this guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be him. Yeah. Because he was up there singing, he had the blonde hair, he's rocking, he's got the chicks. Yeah. He's got the chicks, that's what I want to do.
I would have liked to have been him,
yeah. But, you know, everyone loves Tommy and Nicky as well, and poor old Mick's kind of always been in the background, but...
But in the 70s, like I said, I would have loved to have been Dennis Dunaway from the original Alice Cooper band. I would have loved to have been him. And getting back to the high school days, it was not easy to be a heavy metal fan.
Not at all.
No. Quite often you were ridiculed.
Because it hadn't become commercial at that point.
No.
If we were in high school in 87, 88, 89, or you were in 87, 88, but if me and T-Bone were, people that were bagging us in year 8 going, what's a Motley Crue, would have been coming up to us going, oh man, I love Motley Crue now. You know what I mean? We would have been like...
Predominantly a surf school, wasn't it?
Definitely. I remember my first day at Duncraig Rock. I'd come from Cyril Jackson. In Ashfield, which was like Bogan City. Yeah. And I've rocked up to Duncraig on my first day, year 8. And I came in because I'd started at Cyril Jackson, obviously. Yeah. I came in halfway through the year, and there I was, DBs, black jeans, probably a Kiss shirt or something, and everyone's like looking at me like, oh my God, who is this guy? Yeah. And I'm walking in going, oh my God, who are all these people? It's a bit like that. But we had our own little group that was into that, so no, we never really got hassled out by anyone too much.
I remember certain people who were surfs.
Oh, the Rip Curl and Billabong.
Yeah, the Rip Curl mob, you know. Just like, the mob that used to hang down at Scarborough and all that. There was that sort of mob.
And you don't really have that anymore, do you? You don't have the Bogan, Surfy, the Trendies.
No, I don't think it exists anymore, but apparently it did back in those.
Of course it did, it was, well, you could get beaten up if you're if you're like a Rip Curl wearing Bogan walking into Armadale. And a bunch of DB wearing Bogan sees you, they'll probably chase after you because you had a Billabong or Rip Curl shirt on.
I kind of stayed away from that. I was more, whatever I was into, I was more a closeted fan of what I was into. I never really told people what I was into.
I'm in a metal, but I'm not coming out.
I'm a Star Wars fan, but nobody really knew that I was a Star Wars fan. Yeah. No one knew that I collected or I was just, I don't know, I was just myself. I just looked the part there and just more or less kept quiet and kept to myself.
And rocking it,
yeah. So
what have you got up there next?
Right. Now we've got to
go to another classic
Kiss one.
We're getting towards the end here, people, so bear with us.
You got Alive 2.
Now, me and JD, obviously, the other episode, we're talking about this quite a lot, but I'm going to let you go for it now.
Of course, one of the best features of this album is the actual front of the cover itself. That Kiss logo just hits you in the face. It's just so bold and striking and powerful. You see it in the record shop and you just kind of think Biney.
Yeah.
Biney, you know.
It's what it's saying. You see the Kiss logo, it says
it's
Biney.
Just so bold, Kiss, alive and big red writing.
Red going into the purple.
Yeah, it's just like, just a really, really mad, loud, design. And of course, when this was done, they were in their prime. Yeah. They're absolutely in their prime. They were just like...
Peaking.
They were like the #1 band in the US at the time. And I love the pictures down here as well. Especially the one of Gene.
We'll show them the back because it's the same pictures on the back.
So, yeah.
That one of Gene, he just looks drenched.
He looks totally drenched in sweat and, and blood spitting in fire, but he looks like he's due to. I've really got to come off the stage and have a shower.
Yeah.
It's like.
And not only, can I just make a point that there is a variation in his makeup that he never done before or after, and he doesn't have the little.
Oh yes, he doesn't. Yes, that's true.
Straight. So there's that makes it interesting to me because
that's true. Yeah.
You know, a lot of the times they will keep the makeup very much the same, but there is a slight variation in that where he didn't, and I like that stuff. And no, Paul never wore the star in the other eye. No, always a mirror image photo.
Pretty much so.
Yeah.
And it starts off so well. You got Detroit Rock City, and of course, you are the best. You got the best. It's so much louder.
In the world cares.
So much louder than the previous live one. You the hottest man in the world. Yes. It's just like
you wanted the best. You got the best. Sound like a clown.
It says so exactly. Yeah. You got Detroit Rock City, just fantastic version of that. Then it leads into King of the Nighttime World. I love the version of King of the Nighttime World on this.
Yeah.
Then it just kicks into the ladies' room, you know. And some of you girls won't get yourself kissed. Kind of like that leads into the ladies' room.
Yeah.
And it just continues on to Making Love. It just like so. Yeah. Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, ladies' room. The first 4 songs just really kicks ass.
Yeah.
Really kick. Love Gun. Yeah. Kind of. Dr. Love, Christine 16. I definitely prefer the first 4 on side 1.
Yeah.
On the second side, I Stole Your Love. Yeah, that's pretty good. Beth, well, not really much of a fan on Beth. Although I did like Beth on the Unplugged album.
Yeah.
That's my favourite version of Beth. I always thought that sounded pretty good on the Unplugged album. Shout It Out Loud. Yeah, always. Yeah. That's not bad. And of course you got side 4, All American Man.
Great.
Love Rockin' in the USA.
Love it.
That's probably my favourite on the side 4. Rockin' in the USA. I love that.
Should have been a live staple.
Yeah.
Really?
That's definitely my favourite on that side. Rocket Ride, well that's Aces.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah, great song. Any Way You Want It, well it's not, that was like Then She Kissed Me or something.
I know. We talked about this for
I remember you guys talking about that.
It's kind of like they did 2 covers and they put the covers on the albums that really didn't need to have those covers on them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was sad, but I guess they just tried a few different things and good on them
and
too.
Of course, in the end,
this is an American release too. This one.
This American release, and you got that photo just kicks ass. I think what makes it look so fantastic is the perspective of it. When you're looking up in a 1-point perspective shot, how I notice this is that when you look at the
lighting
the lighting traces, the 1 point is in the middle there.
Yeah, right.
You got your vanishing point there, which leads up to there and there. So that's actually in 1-point perspective.
Yeah, it is.
And it just sort of
for the arty people out there that understand that.
It just sort of hits you in the face. You got the flares throwing up and you know just blowing up everywhere. It's just like it looks like hell.
And then you got to kind of look for the band members. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they are. They're hiding. They're there. There's a lot going on. The drums have risen up 30 feet.
And I think the Love Gun period is probably one of my favourite periods of Kiss. I mean, I think this is just when they were really at their absolute prime.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't beat them at this period. They just kicked ass.
Even with the new shows with all the new technology and the big laser, all that. Nah, give me this. I want that. Yeah, that's how I love them.
Just a spectacular photo.
Yeah, and the fact that people still at that point didn't know what they looked like. It brought this whole mystery. Yeah. That surrounded the band, like no one knew what they looked like. Yeah, I mean people did obviously, but not fans. People that were into the band kind of were only guessing.
Yeah, just a classic stage. I think I like the picture of Gene the most. Although I do like Paul's
doing the point out. And
to the point out, yeah.
Ace's got a bit of a point going too.
Yeah, poor old Peter.
You can't see much of Peter in the back there, but he's all right. Say Pete.
He only wrote Beth.
Plus, he got a photo on the front and the back.
Pretty much so. Yeah. So he's not left out.
Yeah, and he was going to be the first one to leave anyway. So that's how they worked it out.
But just those flames coming up, you know, the whole picture just explodes.
It just looks like the apocalypse.
Yeah, just great album, great picture. Yeah, definitely one of my favourite Kiss albums.
There you go, Kiss Alive too.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to jump to a band that came out in the 80s, and I'm talking about Queensryche, and I'm talking about Rage for Order. I love this album. It's my favourite Queensryche by far. A lot of people go, nah, man, Operation Mindcrime, and that is a classic too, but this, for me, this is way before its time too. Like, they were doing stuff that no hard rock metal band were even willing to try at this point. And it probably didn't get recognised in the way it should have done. But I think that people that look back now on the early Queensryche stuff will kind of bring this up and go, man, that was a really good album. My favourite song on here is New Regal. But when you got Walk in the Shadows, I Dream in Infrared, The Whisper, Gonna Get Close to You, The Killing Words, Surgical Strike, Chemical Youth and Rebellion, London, Screaming in Digital, I Will Remember. Like, I love Queensryche, but I love this album the most. Easily. 1986. They've got a bit of a kind of, I don't know what you would name that look, period or whatever, but what would you? It's kind of got, it's a,
I don't know. It's sort of not 60s, but maybe.
No, it's kind of
got a 70s, but the typeface on the back kind of. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really got no idea.
Queensryche, Rage for Order.
Yeah.
Love it. Give it a go. Give it a go.
Okay.
You're coming up to your last one now, I believe.
The very last one. And yeah, this is pretty special to me. Especially this version, which I got on eBay about 5 or 6 years ago when I was living in New South Wales.
Yep.
It's the first Kiss album. It's an American one. It plays beautifully, and it doesn't have Kissin' Time on it. It's
very rare.
It's quite rare, but there is a rarer one though.
Okay.
There is one where I think Michael's got it. I think Dobsy's got it.
Of course he has. Bloody Dobbs, he's got everything, mate.
He does.
If it's got Kiss on it, he's got it.
On the back it mentions Kissin' Time. The sleeve mentions Kissin' Time,
right.
but the vinyl itself doesn't have Kissin' Time. And I think he's got that.
I think, yeah.
So I think that one might be rarer. But this is still pretty rare because this is one of the first ones that came out.
Yep.
So the sleeve doesn't mention Kissin' Time and the vinyl itself doesn't have Kissin' Time. And I love, every once in a while, I love getting this out and playing it because it just plays so well.
And it doesn't have Kissing Time.
And it doesn't have Kissin' Time.
So you don't have to hear that song when you're playing this version of it.
Yeah, it's got that.
It's got that.
It's like the bubblegum card.
Yeah.
The originality, you like to smell the originality.
Oh, yeah. Even I'll buy a new CD, right, and it'll be wrapped, and I'll take the plastic off, and then I'll open the CD, pull the booklet out, open it, and I smell the ink. Is that bad that I do that?
Yeah.
I just have that fresh.
Casablanca
awesome.
cover, yeah. So
Awesome.
it came with that. I think I paid about $100 for it.
Wow.
So it'd be worth more now.
Yeah.
And
it was 105 now.
105.
But the original
There's
sticker.
the original blue sticker on it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's still, reflecting on the light, that still looks pretty brand new.
It's bloody great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't find too many of them around.
So if anyone wanted to buy this off me, I'll be asking big bucks.
40 grand, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
40 grand.
It's like 45 or 41.
45.
Yeah. So
just in the comments, put your bids down.
Yeah, you'd have to put in a good bid. So
and then you'd still have to try and ply it out of his hands after you've given him the money.
Without the fingers stuck on all the finger marks.
Yeah,
and all that. But this just plays beautifully.
Yeah,
it's the very first album. It's American. It doesn't have Kissin' Time, and it plays beautifully.
So what happened, for those that don't know, Kissing Time, they got asked to do a competition where people were trying to kiss for as long as they can without stopping and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They'd already released their first album. They went and did this competition, and then they recorded the song Kissing Time, which I believe was a cover. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it was
they changed it a bit, I think.
To increase sales.
So management decided to, when they were going to do the next pressing of the first album, that they would add the song Kissing Time from the competition.
Yeah.
And I actually don't mind that song.
It's all right. Yeah.
A lot of people hate it though, so you should have a listen to it. Kissing Time, and let us know what you reckon of it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to finish up with my favourite one. Now, I have got it on vinyl, but I've got it in a frame, and I couldn't. If I was going to take it out of the frame, I was going to have to get screwdrivers and all kinds of bullshit.
It's all signed as well.
Well, I've got it signed by one of the fellas. I'm talking about my favourite album of all time. And I'm talking the first Spread Eagle album.
Wow.
Rob, who I mentioned before, who plays with Sebastian Bach. He did sign it for me when we first met back years ago in Melbourne. I've come across some old backstage passes and stuff that I've also put around the frame. But this album here is pure New York street metal. And I'm actually going to do a special on Spread Eagle really soon.
What year was that done?
90.
90, okay.
When I first heard, when I first saw the video clip and the interview, what they did.
Is that part of the grunge sort of New York sort of view?
No. This was, this to me, if you could get Appetite for Destruction, take that out of LA and then let it fester in New York for 2 years, that's what this sounds like.
Right, okay.
To me, this is way better than Appetite.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of other people will go, oh, that's good. And that's okay, but
yeah.
And another good thing about this album too is that Sebastian Bach really loved this album when it came out. And he actually went back to the Skid Row guys when they were starting to write for Slave to the Grind, and he played it to them going, check this out, you know. So this had quite an impact on them, and I think probably had a bit of an influence on their album Slave to the Grind, which I've actually missed from my listing, which I shouldn't have. But it's a perfect album. Switchblade Serenade, Broken City, Scratch Like a Cat. Look, if you like the stuff that we present here on the show or whatever, and you know how much this band means to me, I really urge everyone to give this band a listen to. They just released an album not long ago. I'll grab it actually while I've got it here, called Subway to the Stars, which came out last year. This needs to be listened to as well, definitely. But yeah, look, as much as I've grown up loving Kiss and all those bands, the one album that's probably had the most impact on me as far as kicking my ass and knocking me to the ground is this album right here. So I would, like I said before, I would have taken it out of the frame, but it was going to be a bit of a mission, so I've left it in there. So yeah, Spread Eagle, and they're self-titled from 1990. And hi to the guys, because I know Tommy and Rob and possibly Ray will be watching this. Sal might be watching too. They've become good friends over the years, and I've hung out with those guys, and we're tight, and it's great because I fucking love you guys, you know. So yeah, that's my final one. Now Ozzy, you've been sick, mate, but when are you coming back on tour?
I've got Parkinson's, bro. I don't have a fucking can.
Yeah.
I'm dead, man. I'm past it, man.
So Sharon's not trying to get you out there. Come on, Ozzy, get out. Just one more tour.
I can't believe, man. I've got Parkinson's. I can barely move.
We do love Ozzy. We're not taking
we do.
We
are big fans. We're also big fans of Kamal as well.
We love Kamal, and
yes,
you know, I can't have a wall of sound without having a little bit of Kamal.
We should have included a Kamal album. Yeah.
I tell you what, we should do a Kamal special.
Well, we done Camp Kamal.
We did a Camp Kamal where we actually went camping and only played Kamal music around the campfire, and it was quite. Treat her like a lady. Oh, yes. It was great. We had a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, I hope you guys had fun for episode 7. Us hanging out and talking about our favourite albums, and obviously there's a few we've missed along the way, so we might get back together and do a part 2 at some stage.
Possibly, yeah.
And do another bunch of albums that we love, because there's so many left over.
Heaps left over, yeah.
But yeah, look, thanks for watching. We're going to leave you with it, and yeah, just keep rocking out, and hopefully we'll see you for episode 8. And we've got more special guests coming up in the future. I spoke to one tonight, but I'm not going to mention who it is until we confirm it and get it all on track. But yeah, thank you guys for helping out and rocking out and watching, and we'll catch up with you soon. See you later.
Catch you later, guys.
See you later, Aussie. See ya.
Falling down when you're falling from the sky, yeah. And I'll meet you down at the river, and I'll see you from the other side.